Two people were kissing when the man and his secretary arrive. They are surprised by this, and the secretary reveals to us that these were the man's wife and son. The man is furious with the situation and asks his secretary to film it. He then says that the situation wasn't going to stay that way and storms away. The secretary tries to call for her boss, but he leaves. At that moment, the two realize that the secretary was there, and the boy asks what she was doing. She says she was looking for her boss, but the boy says he wasn't there and asks her to leave. When she leaves, the boy tells his wife that he doesn't understand why his father hired a useless secretary like that. The woman tells him not to worry, because when he owned the company, he could hire whoever he wanted. Later, the secretary was asking the man where he would like to have dinner that day. He told her that she didn't need to do anything as he wanted things to continue as they were. He then asks her to cancel all of her credit cards and send him the photos she had taken. The secretary says she would do that, and then leaves. When the secretary leaves, the boy goes to his father and tells him that when he went to buy something, the credit card refused. The man then tells his son that he has cancelled all his credit cards. This leaves the boy surprised. He asked why. The man said he wanted his son to be more responsible. The boy is furious with this situation and says that his father could not do that, because his obligation was to take care of him, but the man says that he would not do that anymore, because his son was old enough to take care of him alone. The boy says that it was wrong and that if his mother was alive, she wouldn't let it happen. The man tells his son that he only wanted the best for his son, but the boy says that was impossible because his father was the worst father in the world. He then leaves, but the man asks him to wait and says that he would reactivate the accounts, but that he had one condition. The boy asks what this condition was, and the man said he wanted the boy to attend dinner that night. The boy thanks his father, and then the man asks his son what he thought about his stepmother. The boy doesn't know what to say and said he liked her very much. The man said he was happy to hear that and asked his son not to be late for dinner. The boy said he wouldn't be late and then leaves. When the boy leaves, the man says that everything was almost done. He said that he just needed to get his wife to dinner, but that he was sure she would go because he knew her so well. Later, he was talking on the phone when the stepmother arrives in the man's room. She then said she needed to talk to the man. The man says he was on the phone, but that he could talk to her. She says she needed to buy clothes, but her credit card refused. She said that when she went to the mall, she ended up going through a shameful situation when she tried to buy an outfit and her account was blocked. The man says that he would resolve that situation later as he was in a meeting at that time, but the woman says that she needed to take care of her pain at that time and that she didn't even have time to wait. The man then asks his secretary to deliver a box to his wife. She is surprised by this, and then the man says that it was a gift for everything she had done for him. She opens the gift, says that she had liked it a lot. The man says that he really enjoyed having her in his life and that she had helped a lot with his son. She says that she was very fond of the man's son and that she was very happy to have watched him grow up. The man says that he knew they liked them quite a bit and that sometimes he thought his wife liked his son more than he liked him. The woman is surprised by this and says that he was mistaken, because she loved her husband very much. She then said she needed to leave to get ready for dinner. He then says goodbye to his wife and says he was looking forward to dinner. As she leaves, the man and his secretary burst out laughing. The man said he needed the dinner to be perfectly arranged for his purposes. The secretary says she would fix everything and asks if the man really wanted to go through with it. He says yes, that dinner was going to be unforgettable. She says that the man wouldn't need to worry about that, because she would have everything prepared for him. He thanks her and tells her that she didn't need to treat him so formally. The man tells her that he wanted her to treat him in a more informal way. She agrees with that and says she would do that. He then says he would like her to come to dinner too. This makes the secretary very happy and she says she would go to dinner. The man thanks her and says he was counting on her presence. Later, the boy goes to his stepmother and she asks him what he was doing there. He then says that his father had asked him to attend that dinner with them and asks if he looked good in those clothes. She said he looked very handsome in those clothes and asked him to come closer to her. At this point, the secretary arrives and then tells them to wait a little longer, as the man would soon arrive. The woman then asked what she was doing there and the secretary says that the man had asked her to be there. The boy then tells her that he wouldn't accept that situation because she wouldn't boss him around and that she was just his father's secretary. At this point, the man comes downstairs and asks his son to stop it and leave his desk alone. The boy then apologizes to his father and asks him to sit at the table with them. The man sits down at the table and thanks his son. He then says that this was a very special dinner for them and that for that reason he had invited a very special guest. He asks for another woman to come in, and then this woman starts handing them some pictures on their plates. Seeing that picture, the boy doesn't understand what was happening and asks his father what it was. The man says that he already knew everything that was going on and knew of their betrayal. He said he always thought he might be cheated on by a partner or a friend, but he never thought his own son and his wife would cheat on him. The boy then tells his father to let him explain, as he would understand the reasons he had. The man says he had already understood that his son had cheated on him with his own wife. The woman then tells her husband that she couldn't resist his son's charms because he was the very attractive young man and that he reminded her of her husband when he was younger. The man then tells him that he didn't want to hear her apologies anymore and that he worked hard to get paid for everything they wanted, yet he was betrayed. He said he wanted them to leave and that he was going to remove the two from his will. The boy tells his father that he couldn't do that to him, because he had nothing and that he depended too much on his father. He says he would do whatever his father wanted, even clean up the entire company to stay in that house. The man tells his son that he was very sad to know that this was happening and that his son should have thought before he did it. The woman tries to explain herself to her husband, but he says he wants them to leave. The boy tries to ask his father not to do that, but he asks them to leave and never come back. When they leave, the man thanks the two women who had helped him and says that without them, he wouldn't have been able to do it. The secretary says she would always help her boss. The other woman says that whenever her boss needed help, she would help him. The man then says that now that it's all over, he was very hungry and asks his secretary if she wouldn't like to have dinner with him. She is very excited and accepts the invitation. Or mine, so ask another woman to prepare a dish for them. The secretary says she was very excited about it and so the man asks them to bring the best food they had for them.